Wow. Today I've been working in the yard of a rental. We own several college rentals in a small college town nearby. And this one needed some yard work. We haven't mown it yet, but we've been doing some other cleanup. And I was just letting my mind think about the topic of today that I wanted to talk about, which is live teaching classes in person, live, in small groups, so that you get your feet wet around your topic or passion of your hobby. That topic could be anything, but back when I was in graduate school, I taught classes on personal computing. This was 30 years ago, and people didn't know how to do word processing, and people didn't know how to do spreadsheeting, and they didn't know how to do rudimentary desktop publishing. So I taught first and got my feet wet really through junior college that needed some night classes, and they were non-traditional students who really just wanted to learn the computer. They weren't, sorry, I was working in the yard. They weren't regular students who were wanting the credit, but they took it for credit because they wanted the information. And I realized there was a market, that there was a group of people who really wanted to learn this, and they really weren't given an outlet to do that except for books that came with the computer, right? And that's not a great way to learn something. So after the class ended and they got their credit, I went over to the public library and asked if I could reserve the computer room, which at that time wasn't as highly used, but they had like 4 or 5 computers. And they said yes, for free. I could have them come in and learn, and I could charge. And so I worked that out. And once a month I taught a class and earned a couple $100 30 years ago, which was a lot of money 30 years ago, a month, teaching at my public library something that I had taught over at the JUCO, Not a hard thing. I didn't have to do as much grading as I had at the junior college, and it worked out great. And as I was thinking about how you get started in really sharing your hobby information and making sure that you are building a business that will sustain your retirement as you move towards that, as we're preparing for the fourth quarter, right? I thought about testing the waters with your public library's free rooms that you can reserve. I know we're a small college town here, and I use the public library's computer area. I know they have now they've remodeled, and they have a beautiful larger education room. Then they have 2 smaller education rooms. And I thought, wow, there's some opportunity there. You could do the larger room around general topics that are more fashioned to the 101, the first time user, right? No matter what you're teaching, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's something that in general people want to learn. You could teach even cooking without hands-on cooking, right? You could talk about best practices, what are some equipment you need, that kind of thing, and charge a low dollar amount, right? You could teach about what's the best way to rent. Like you could teach new landlords. And I thought, you could actually teach renters. Your landlords would pay higher amount, but your renters would pay a lower amount, but there'd be more of them. Then I thought of the small education rooms, which really are just like glass-walled conference rooms, and they're very fancy schmancy at my library, but I've seen them other libraries, and they have a big TV in there, and you can hook up your laptop to it. You could do higher-end education around your topic. You could teach apps. You could teach about Airbnb. I don't know what you know. I know what I know. You could teach around many of the apps that people use to earn money. If you are into stock trading, you could teach about that. You could teach about what are some of your best forms of spreadsheeting. People really want to learn spreadsheeting. There's still a demand to learn spreadsheeting. There's so much I don't know about spreadsheeting. You could teach most anything that you have a base knowledge in, and you could charge more in those intimate rooms at the library, the small rooms with the larger screen TVs, than you would charge in the larger rooms which has basically a pull down screen and a projector. And I could teach about renting. There's so much that I know, right? I could teach about how I do my contracts. I could teach about how I vet my renters. I could teach about how I decide a property is a traditional rental or an Airbnb. Wow, there's a lot of things I could teach. I know that there are a lot of things you could teach. So when you're talking about teaching, you'll need a space, and do it one-on-one is what we're talking about, so that you build that confidence. You need to be confident in what you're teaching before you go digital. I know some people prefer the digital over the face-to-face, and that's fine. Jump in there, and we're going to do another video about that. But I find that I got my feet underneath me, and there's a lot of traffic on this road. Sorry, guys. And it's a bit breezy, so I hope the audio is not too bad for you. But I find that I was more comfortable around my teaching chops when I did it in person and did it several times in a row and then really understood it, right? So earlier today, I looked up AI. I used Claude, but you could use ChatGPT, but they both have free versions. And I put into Claude, I asked for an outline to teach an hour's worth of information around new landlords. It was a great outline. So if you don't know what to teach about you in your topic, I think you know what you can teach about, right? It might be something that you do with work. It might be something you do with a passion in the evenings or on weekends. Kayaking is something I do on the weekends. Some people really love to garden. I'm doing some yard work here. I don't really love to garden, but some people do. There's a lot of topics that I know you know. But when you know what you want to teach or think you might want to teach, put 2 or 3 things down. Put it in the ChatGPT or the Claude and let them tell you how it might be best presented. You're going to get a little fire underneath you. You're going to get excited about showing other people what you know about the topic. I had a professor when I was doing my graduate teaching work. I was a teaching assistant in graduate school. And he said to me, when I was a little nervous, because I told him I'm the same age or a little, not too much older than most of my students. And he said, "You've read one more book than they have. You read the textbook." Well, I have kept that in my mind every time I have presented. I've read one more book than they have, and I'm just presenting knowledge that they obviously want, or they wouldn't have shown up. So what do you know that they don't know? And if you don't have a fairly good idea of what you would like to talk about, put it in the AI, see what it spits out. Because it is going to have a fairly good idea, because it's searching the web on what people search around that topic, right? What they don't know around that topic. I find it very interesting that I'll come across channels that are so esoteric. I'll find channels on how to best clean laundry. I'll find channels on how to sew. I find channels on housekeeping, how to clean top to bottom your house the most efficient way. What? Didn't everybody learn that? No. You just don't even have to ask that of yourself, right? We know everyone didn't learn that because not everybody had the same parents we had. But maybe that's a topic you know all about. And people love decluttering. I'll tell you, I did a decluttering video on my channel here, and it's not the direction I wanted to take my channel. But I had over 1,000 views. It's still going. I had to question what direction I was taking with my YouTube channel, just from the point of view of the decluttering video I did. And I had to really do some soul searching. Do I want to teach decluttering? I could. A lot of people are doing it. It's a super, super popular topic. Maybe that's your thing. It kind of is mine. I promised I was going to do a couple more decluttering videos because every once in a while I get a bug in my bonnet and I go do it. And I have a garage that really needs cleaned out. So I'll probably do that just for the views, but it's not my general push for this channel. My general push for this channel is helping you know that you can create other retirement streams for your income for your retirement, right? I'm afraid that the streams that I had counted on are not going to be there for me. And I don't want to teach retirement income streams that are based in product, because with the tariffs, I'm not sure that'll be an easy out as it was for many people. I'm going to teach ways that we can teach what's in here, ways that we can give back what's in here, and then we receive monetary compensation that allows us to retire in a more comfortable way and a more secure of knowledge. So if we start in our 50s and early 60s with this, by the time we get to the point where we are needing it and can't give so much of our time and our efforts, and everybody's different. I know people that are teaching in their 80s. Everyone is different. But on the average, most people feel that when they're in their 70s, they want to kick back. They want to travel more, maybe put their feet up. I think that if we learn how to use our minds and share our knowledge and the gifts that we've put together over the years, right? Whether it's a digital product or teaching in person or teaching having a membership, and then people receive your information as they ask questions, right? There are a lot of different formats, and we'll be exploring them in the coming weeks with different videos about different types of sharing what's in here. Not a product, not something plastic, not something that we have to worry, is there a production stream happening from China? All of those things. We're not worrying about that. How can we monetize what time and energy on our part has given us? And that's what we're going to put together and package. So today, it's so simple. Just go and think about what you know that you can teach that someone might care about. If you're unsure if they care about it, put it in search and see if other people are teaching it. If other people are teaching it, you know it's a demand out there. And then go to AI, put your topic in and ask it to do a format. More traffic. To do a format, and I read something yesterday that really set my spark of interest. It said, yes, put it in AI and ask your question. And then ask it again. And keep digging. Keep digging and digging and digging. Spend a full hour asking AI about your topic. You are going to be shocked at the quality you receive. Your first information from it may seem pretty good, but by the time you're done with an hour's worth of digging and you have invested an hour's worth of your time into researching your topic on AI, you're going to have some quality information. Do that. Spend an hour of your time digging. Put together a little class agenda. Most of the time, speak off the cuff, though. Keep it an outline and speak off the cuff about a topic you already know about it. I know people that have shared about how to be international student guest hosts. I know people who have shared about how to be a foster parent. I know people who have shared about how to adopt overseas. Right. You start thinking there's just a series of information that anyone can share about. And then reach out and book the room. Just do it. Like if you end up with 2 students and you charge $25 a class, that's $50 you didn't have. No big deal. Book the room at the library. Put the ad on Facebook. Ask different entities that might have an investment in your topic to share what's in your ad on Facebook. You're going to be surprised. Hey, maybe you make 2 new friends and you earn $50. That's not the worst thing to ever happen. We're going to talk more about the actual technicalities, maybe share a little bit. Maybe you don't know how to do a Venmo or a PayPal account. We'll talk about that later on. But start somewhere. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. I mean, I did it when I was a graduate student and was really stupid. I think you can do it.